Test, test, test. This is a all cellular. I know my head's cut off. I can go like that, I guess. Oh no, I know what I can do. I'm using a Manfrotto tripod. So really, this, what about the wind? I have a windsock on. How many bars do I have? Really, that's amazing. It's actually like gusting at 20 miles an hour out here. Yeah, it'll die down. It was a it was a very, very unwindy morning. I meant to do this around 10 a.m. You like my pink chair? Trying to sign in to Google while I am, oh well. Come here, Wyatt. Can I get a pan down to show you Wyatt? There's Wyatt. Look at him. What a good boy. Good boy. That's 3-footed Wyatt. I am on the northern border of the super secret ranch. So this is my little. When my daughter and I have an agreement that, after a couple hours, it's one of us has to leave the house for a while. So I've made since I've made the secret glade of reading, I'm the one that comes out. So that's cool. I've got a little exercise mat over there. Let's see. Can you see that? I've got a solar panel right there, charging everything up. Brand of the solar panel. I think it's Meewer, MEEWER. I think it is a 12-watt panel because it has one 2.4 amp out. No, you might be right. No, it's not 35 watts. That I know, but it might be 24. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I come out here and read, or bring the tablet. Now the problem is I don't want to go from cell to cell. My tablet is on cell. I'm expanding my Wi-Fi out here. I'm doing a repeater, booster. Ballot harvesting, started here, and it threw an election 2 years ago. That was a dry run, and it works. The Democrats have weaponized it. Republicans are not even close. The Democrats have mobilized Spanish-speaking millennials to go through Baldwin Hills, East LA, and and they know, you're if you're a registered voter, it's a matter of public record, and if you've been voting since the 60s, then they know that you were 18 in the 60s. You're old now, so they will come and knock on your door and say, "Oh, hi there. I'm from politics, and I'm here to take your ballot. To the poll. Why don't you tell you what? Here's the deal. If you just sign it, then what I'll do is you tell me who you want to vote for, and then I'll drop your ballot off. And if that person says, all the Republicans, whatever, then magically that ballot doesn't make it. And when they say, well, it's really hard to verify that happened. Well, not really. If you really give a shit, what you do is you would go to everyone when a ballot harvester shows up with 100 ballots, by the way, you would say, we're going to take a picture of every one of these signatures and names, and then we're going to go and we're going to take a random sample. You ballot harvesters have brought in 10 bundles of 100 ballots, so we're going to take a random sample. We're going to go to 10 of them and ask them if that's their signature and if they remember voting this way. But that's just not what we do anymore. It's done. It's weaponized now. It is a done deal at this point. The cat's out of the bag, and now they know that they can throw an election with it. Now that they know how to do it. If it's close, then they know how to do that. So anyway, yeah, we are. It's a permanent Democrat majority, probably a permanent Democrat supermajority at this point, until the Republicans learn how to convert conservative Hispanics to Republican. Right now they're voting by default for Democrats because the Democrats run Hispanic candidates. It's really that simple. If the Republicans would get more like Mike Garcia's, and I think Mike Garcia out here. By the way, I'm in Kevin McCarthy's district. I'm what was her name? The naked chick who was a congresswoman for 2 years. I forgot, or a year and a half. I forgot her name. Katie something. I forgot. Right? Katie whatever. Well, anyway, that district starts a couple hundred yards south of me, and Katie Hill. And so the Republicans, re-ran Steve Knight, who she defeated, and he was a really good congressman, the whole thing. But the reason that Mike Garcia made it out of the primary was because his last name is Garcia. Conservative business owner, former F-18 pilot, and in the constituency on the other side of the 14, on the east side of the 14 freeway, he didn't have to say Republican on there. So, so he drops that off, and he makes it out. He beats Steve Knight. Out of the primary. All right. Well, I guess if I'm not on Wi-Fi on my tablet, I really don't care. If you guys say that this looks good, then we're good. So I'm not dropping out. There's not lag spikes or anything like that. And it's not too... Why, do I look fat? Do I look fat again? I have, I kind of plateaued at 220. I'm floating around 220. So I need to go hard, um, and do that final push and get below 200. So I will do that. Where in Snohomish County are you? No, I'm definitely not calorie counting. I just need to get serious about. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, Spanky Bear lives where I used to live, in this town. Actually, I was northeast of Monroe, up on the plateau. But no, I need to get back to eating just once a day because my body got used to that. And the problem is, I'm making breakfast for my daughter in the morning, and then I usually have an egg and bacon also, and then I eat later. But I need to get back to just like eating at 5 p.m. and getting my body back used to that. But no, I'm lucky, as you see, because I've got 11 acres that I can run around on, 11 fenced acres, and the dogs are bored, so I take them out. I usually just leave the front door open, but the coyote sometimes just decides that 11 acres isn't enough, and she'll just take a runner, which isn't good for anyone. That can cost you $40 a pop. So I have a long story on a dog tag that says, "Hello, my name is Lucille, and I've run away." One of my camping supplies out here is delicious Trader Joe's sparkling water, blueberry lemonade. Liz, come here, Liz. Wyatt. They have a ground squirrel cornered. But no, I can have a fire pit here. That's the cool thing. Is I can have a fire pit and the whole deal. And what I like doing is making a little room in the can. And then making my own spiked seltzer. In this time of pandemic, I can't hold out for fancy brands like White Claw. I got to make my own. So it's what is it? $3.50. I will splice the main brace. And that's the thing. Volume-wise, vodka is 40% alcohol, right? So I put about, I think, 20% into here. I'm going to say this is 5%. This matches a White Claw, which is 5%. It sucks because I would love to do a pandemic live show, to Dave & Buster's, but we're not. Dave & Buster's and those are. I'm gonna turn the light off. There we go. Because what's the point? Dave & Buster's is closed because of the crowds and all that. So that's here comes Lucille. See, there's Lucille. Hey, girl. Hi, girl. Look at her. She's so pretty. My coyote. Hi, Lucille. So she's patrolling. It is kind of cool that they have enough land, that they can just run all day, and I don't have to worry. As long as I'm out here, I don't have to worry because her escape window is way down by this road, and because she likes chasing cars, because cars stop and let her in. Otherwise, she doesn't get out anywhere. Also, when they're here, she guards the chickens. The chickens are out picking bugs and stuff like that. And so the two things we have guarding the chickens are Wyatt and Lucille, the dogs, and then also we've got a couple of owls here. Why is that shaking? I don't like that. I need to stabilize it. I was really afraid the wind was gonna suck. All the land is being taken up by solar, frankly. Yes, I do. I think martial law maybe by the end of April. See, the cool thing is I'm never going to have a neighbor as long as I stay here, because the solar dudes are buying up everything, and I think they make great neighbors. That's what I think about solar farms. That's Mount Tehachapi there in the distance. So from here, I'm about 25 miles from Tehachapi, which if I want to stay in California and I won the lottery, I move up to Bear Valley Springs, up in Tehachapi. I love it up there. It's like I always say, Tehachapi is a well-earned Ojai. I almost forgot. Why, Ike? I almost forgot you were there. You may go now. Let's see. Yeah, I have a really, really bad feeling that the local law enforcement, LA County and LAPD, haven't really thought about what's going to happen when they're quarantining a bunch of their guys. Luckily, the majority of LAPD are under the age of 50, and they're going to be okay. They're going to be fine. But the problem is when they're positive, they're going to have to quarantine, and they don't have a real. They're going to empty out all the sick, lame, and lazy out of the HR department and get them to patrol. And the people of LA have shown in the past that they will not leave any opportunity untaken to loot. I really think it's going to be a bad scene. So I'm just hoping it doesn't come up here to the North County. But luckily, my neighbors around here, I got to tell you, don't come around here trying to loot shit or do a home invasion. It's just not going to work. And I pity the fools. And also, I'm not afraid of people coming up from Compton. The deal is, LA County social engineered the Antelope Valley 20 years ago. They began moving out Section 8 housing out of Compton up here where housing was cheap. In fact, they have overflow. Some of LA County's Section 8 are up in Kern County in Rosamond. And people in Rosamond are fucking pissed about that, because they're exporting poor people. And I mean, it's, nothing personal about poor people. It's just that along with the welfare culture, and this means West Virginia, it means white people on the Olympic Peninsula, where I come from, it's just that the entitlement culture amongst people who should be grateful for free money, it's really weird. The people who you would think would be most appreciative of free stuff, and generous and all that, they're the ones who tear their neighborhood up the quickest. And I mean, white meth heads in Cedro Woolley, and I mean poor people in Lancaster. So my Obama phone. So ask any Palmdale or Lancaster station deputy that they will come up from Compton, where they're a contract city for the sheriff's department, and they'll come here and they'll recognize half the same players. these guys rip up and down, and like a guy will do a drive-by down here, he'll come up here for a month. And then there's these legendary foster homes up here. In LA County, there's one in particular where a guy, he's right out of Central Casting. Cadillac, fedora hat, the whole fucking deal. And he has a foster house with 10 boys, 17, 16, 15, going to school up here. He gets paid about $5,000 a head per month. So it has become a money-making deal. These guys they'll find a house up here, and they'll rent it for $2,000 a month, 5-bedroom, house that was built right before the Great Recession in 2008, and they'll fill it with foster kids. And these are not kids who are, who were in abusive households or anything like that. These are juvenile delinquents. These are kids out of the system who need a foster home. So there's bad kids that they bring up here, and they're in certain high schools. I know an administrator at one of the high schools. And those are the guys who generally, they really, except for Walmart, they don't really venture west. They don't really come out here. But in Lancaster and Palmdale, when the shit goes turbo, it's going to be ugly. California, of course, is $5,000 a kid. And they're going to be turning on each other. And the Hispanic black thing is going to come out real soon. So apparently the word is that COVID-19 is all over the immigrant community in the Antelope Valley. And true deal. You'll never hear about that in the media or anything. But here in LA County, the foster system is a scam, gigantic scam. I should do it. I should go to Home Depot and get a tool shed and put like 8 guys in there or something. No, because what's going to happen is LA County Sheriff's Department is going to draw from low call areas to stack and reinforce high call areas like Palmdale and Lancaster and Compton. So hopefully it doesn't go turbo, but the deputies get COVID-19 too. So anyway, as always, I hope it doesn't turn into martial law, but I'm planning for anything. My daughter and I shot, if you have an AR-15, there's a 22 caliber insert. It's great. You get it from CMMG at any gun show. And it's not a gun. I believe you can just order it online. I'm not sure. For California, it comes. The problem is you got to find it sold with a 10-round magazine. Most of them sell with a 30. But you pull the bolt out of the back of your upper, and you slide this thing in, and then it has basically an arbor that fills the breech with a fake 5.56, shape brass. But then it takes a 22 in there, and they're great. I love them. I have thousands of rounds of subsonic 22, and my daughter and I come out and shoot it. Literally, the action is louder than the report of the bullet. No, for my daughter and I have her familiarized with an AR. She shoots the 300 Blackout. That has zero recall. So I'm shooting subsonic 300 Blackout. I just want her to be able to defend herself if anything happens. Pardon me. And I've got 1/4-inch boilerplate from an actual boiler from a school, and they were cut with a cutting torch. And so I have kind of a range. And I have big panels and then smaller and smaller and smaller panels, and they're fixed. And so I get an audible ring, when we hit it. So, and I can legally shoot. I'm so far away from a road, I can legally shoot and all that. So anyway, there goes Lucille. I'm assuming the worst. That's why I always say, you won't recognize LA in the next 60 days. I really do think that if things stay the way they are, the issue is not ventilators. The issue is the hospitals get full. Okay, great. Most people will survive. The issue is they've metastasized the homeless. Garcetti's idiotic plan to put homeless in rec centers, it's a disaster. And Steve Gregory asked him about that yesterday, and he wouldn't answer. He just said, well, I'm not hearing that, and your story is anecdotal. Well, okay, everybody, my men on the inside, one of them had to relieve a guy who became symptomatic, so he had to cover for 4 hours at one of these rec centers, the one in Van Nuys. They weren't allowed to put masks on. I'm not making this up. They weren't allowed to wear masks because that might objectify or stigmatize the homeless. He said they were packed in there like sardines, and that there's no legal authority to keep them in there. So they were just fading away. And that the chances are they are passing infections off to each other. So now they've moved, known COVID-19 carriers up to Woodland Hills and Tarzana and South LA and the whole deal. So, well, thank you, Jackie. How do you look? You want to help me repopulate the world? It's a bad joke I've been making. But yeah, I think that this is a disaster of Garcetti's making. And it could have been done, like in my scenario from January 25th. A sensible mayor would have just rounded them up downtown, put them in the Coliseum, exerted public health law, and then just given them medical care. Instead, you have this highly vulnerable population. If what your claim is that you give a fuck about the homeless, if your claim is that you care about them, then why would you allow them to live the way that they do, giving this virus to each other? And then if you give a shit about the city, that elected you, why would you then metastasize that tumor and send it all around LA? So it's, the only poetic justice is when Garcetti gets it, when Garcetti is positive. So there's that. So something I can't talk about on the air is I used to work at the University of Washington Medical Center, and I still have a lot of friends there. And the UW Virology Lab has really become the world's leading virology lab. And when my daughter and I were sick, February 10th through the 15th, no one had COVID-19 tests, right? And it really wasn't in my mind. But I had never been that sick. I haven't had the flu in 10 years, and I got really sick. And she had her first flu in her life, because she has the immune system of a 80-year-old Peruvian. When she was born, we had 6 dogs and lived in canyon country. So she has no allergies, great immune system. And she was on her ass, I was on my ass, and we made a little cubby. We made a bunk. We moved our beds out to the living room and just binge watched everything. And so suddenly on Friday, so it was Monday the 10th, on Friday, my fever broke. I felt bad. It wasn't a bad fever anyway. So I talked to a friend of mine, because Microsoft is offering swabs for all their employees, right? And they're not shipped on ice or anything. It's not like a blood sample. And so talked to my friend, and I said, hey, can you send me 4? And I'm going to send you 4 back. We're going to double blind it. I'll give you the numbers. And I wrote down the numbers for mine and the numbers for her. And he said, okay, here's the thing. You guys are post-symptomatic. You're not a priority. I can't run your tests. So that was that was like Monday, February 18th. And he said, if we get the room, I'll run your test. But he said, right now we're packed with, every single test is accountable. They're all patients. They're all inpatients. So I can't run yours. So he finally had time to run ours. And we were, at this point, we're post-symptomatic, right? So it was 3 days after we were sick. So we were positive. And I would say that if you tested us again, we may be, because all they're doing is a mucus swab in the nose or even sputum. And it's a direct test for the RNA of the virus, right? Like when we test your serum for antibodies, we're not looking for the bug because there's not many of them in there. You beat it. We're looking for the antibody. The antibody indicates that you encountered the bug, your body made the antibody, and you're alive. So those two things, there's the antibody and you're alive. So yes, we can confirm that you had malaria, or whatever, right? So with this, there is no antibody test yet. There just is not. There's not going to be for months and months and months. But by deductive reasoning, if we were sick and we got over it and we were positive, then we didn't get tested beforehand or during the sickness. But if we were sick and then 3 days later we were positive, then we probably had it and we probably have the antibodies. And it very well might be that if they tested our mucus, we may be negative. Your white blood cells are not in your nose fighting it, but it might be that the COVID gets in my nose, and if it hits my body, it gets killed because the antibodies were formed back on February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. So anyway, that's 6 weeks ago. So if I was positive back on February 18th when they ran that, well, I haven't gotten it. I'm not symptomatic. So if I was positive on February 18th, then I should have been sick again, but I'm not. So I'm confident that we had it and we beat it. So there's that. The issue though is that I can't sit there and go on the air and say, well, because I know a guy that knows a guy, I was able to get tested. I didn't have to drive through some crappy Costco parking lot in Torrance, whatever. So I don't want to do that. If there's people who would like to get tested and they haven't been tested yet, I don't want to do that. I don't want to say, well, I had mine FedExed and then I snotted on it and we sent it back FedEx. So I'm not going to do that. But maybe when this all blows over. All right. Well, we're at 33 minutes. This was a test. I just wanted to see how this sounded. So you're saying between the wind and the connection, this worked? What's the consensus? I'm just curious about any dropouts, any miss, if the sound is bad or whatever. So, all right. Well, then maybe I'll give you a morning show tomorrow at 9 a.m. I don't want to step on Gary and Shannon, but maybe at 9 a.m. I don't mind. Need to address the what? Oh, the wind. Okay, I'll address the wind. Wind, cease. I'm going to write a better address to the wind. Doesn't listen to me. All right, then here's my set. This is all green screen, by the way. This isn't real. The wind is a sound effect, and I'm actually in a garage, so there's that. Maybe tomorrow I'll bring a gun. All right, have a good day, everyone.